Hello, hello, my friends. It's Jen Pittelbach with By the Shore Stamping, back for another weekly video with you. Today, I am super excited. Okay, you guys, this style of card has been around probably since I first started doing Stampin' Up 16 years ago, and I have never tried it. It always looked so intimidating, and it's really not. And I'm super excited to share with you. I had kind of a vision for this card because I just think they go really well together with the new Waves of Inspiration collection. So let me show you that really quick once again. I'm having so much fun playing with these cards, or this paper and this stamp set, but it is currently an early release. So the stamps and the dies, I believe, will be in the new annual catalog coming out in May, but the paper and the embellishments are exclusive to this little early release. So the stamp set looks like this. The dies coordinate pretty much to the stamp sets. They have some fun little intricate, I don't have it with me or I would show you, but they have like some overlays for the wave and some die cuts for the little bird pelican on the post. So it's really, really sweet. And then the paper is really the part that is the most amazing part of this. So you can see it's just really fun hand poured papers that are super bold and fun, and they just have a total beachy vibe. Like, I just feel like I've got my feet in the sand and I'm watching those bubbles pop up at my feet because they're just so much fun. And then of course there's these fun embellishments that go along with it too, the rhinestone waves basic jewels, which have variations of all the colors that are included. So today's card is called a waterfall card, and I wanted to create a waterfall card using this little wave, and so it took me a little bit, but I figured it out. So let me show you what I'm talking about. So here is the card, and then watch how it magically waterfalls, right? So isn't that fun? So it looks like a wave, and then when you pull it through, you've got your sentiment and your little birds in the water at the bottom there. So it's kind of like a reveal card. So I'm going to show you how I made that. Let's first start off with your components. So you're going to need a basic card base, so 5.5 by 8.5, folded in half. So I'm using Coastal Cabana for that. You're also going to need a 1 by 4.25 inch piece of cardstock in the same color. And a 1 3/4 by 8.5 inch cardstock in the same color. You'll want a 4 by 5.25 inch piece of patterned paper, and I added in this little piece for layering on here just because I felt like it needed a little bit of pizzazz. So this piece is 3/4 by 4 inches. Is it 4 or 4.25? Yeah. 3/4 by 4, and then you're going to want 3 pieces of white cardstock that are 2 by 2.25, so 3 of those, and then I made layering ones that are 2.25 by 2.5, and that will just layer those on top of there. Okay, so those are our bits and pieces. I'll put the measurements in the video description below, and then we will start to get going here. So I'm using the waves. Now the tricky part of this is I want this to look like a full wave. So I tried it once before and had them going like, I don't know if I still have it. So I stamped it like I would normally once across all 3, but then it didn't, like when you pulled it, it didn't actually work right. It looked weird, right? So what you want to do is you're going to stamp just the wave part. And I'm going to stamp the middle one first. Okay, so this is the one that's going to be in the middle. So it's the part where you actually see the finished wave. So I want that to be kind of almost to the edge and just a little bit down from the top there. So I'm going to stamp that like that. I need a bigger block, you guys. So don't mind me while I make sure that transfers. Okay, so that's kind of how I want that one to be. Now we're going to stamp the first one, the one that shows the most. Okay, so the trick is we're gonna just stamp it so that, because remember this is gonna be kind of half shown, and there's no real trick to this. I mean, you could get really granular and be like, okay, so you know, you see about 4 of this and do that, but I just kind of eyeballed it, keeping it about the same length down, Okay, but I don't want the any of that crashing wave to show. So I really, honestly, I kind of lined up this edge here almost to the edge. And that way, when I stamp this, now, whoops, I didn't add some oomph to that when I was stamping. Now, when I put them together, it's gonna look like a finished wave, right? And then the last part is really just to stamp this edge along the bottom. Okay, so I'm just gonna kind of almost line up that edge of this stamp so that it's just off. And then that, whoops, I kind of went a little too high. Let's try that again. Good thing there's two sides to every paper, right? So I got my edge right. I just want to pull that down just a little bit. There we go. There. Okay, so now I have the water along the bottom. So that's kind of our wave process. So now what I can do is I'm going to go ahead and attach those down to the Pacific Point mats. So I'm using Pacific Point and Coastal Cabana. So let's do that. And right now it doesn't matter what order I'm doing it because I'm going to layer them in the correct order once I get there. We're just getting this set. This is probably the hardest part, is to get the wave done right. But it's actually really super simple. Okay, so now let's set that aside and we'll go ahead and attach the first parts of this. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to attach my pattern paper to the card base. I want it to be horizontal. So I'm going to attach that like that. Okay. Okay, and then I'm going to attach this little piece. I think I like this side better, so I'm going to attach that to here. Okay. All right, and then that's going to go in here, but we're not going to quite do that yet. Oh, and you know what? I did cut that a little bit smaller than I was supposed to, but that's okay. It just won't go to the edge of the card. It's just going to go to the edge of the pattern paper. I'll show you what I mean in a second. Whoops. Totally trimmed that incorrectly too. All right, let's go. So now on this piece, which is 1 3/4 by 8 1/2, I'm going to go ahead and score it at 1 3/4. So remember, we're just scoring, not cutting. 1 3/4, 2 3/4, and 3 3/4. Okay, like that. And this is going to be the mechanism, basically, that we're going to use for the waterfall. Okay, so this is going to, let me just double check here for a second. I need to remember. Yeah, this gets taped to the front of this, like that. Okay, and then we'll tape that down. So I'm going to use some nice heavy duty adhesive here. I'm using my Stampin' Seal Plus. You could use tear and tape. You could use red line tape. You just want something very secure so that it stays put. I'm just kind of putting this down so I can make sure it's in the middle, like that. Okay, now this is going to actually fold under that piece, like that. And now I'm going to go ahead and attach this to the card, but you only want to add adhesive to these side pieces here. Don't want to add any adhesive in here, otherwise your waterfall card is not going to waterfall. Okay, so now we'll take this, get it lined up so it's in the middle, like so. Okay. All right, now we need to tape our little panels on. So they're going to overlap a little. So I'm just adding a little bit of tape right next to each of those score lines, okay? And one right here on the edge, like that. Okay, the bottom one is going to be the last to be revealed. So we're going to put that on like this. Okay, this is going to be the middle one. So we're going to put our wave Now I'm making sure I line the top and bottom up with the blue layer there too. Okay, and then this one is going to go right here. You want it just before where it folds, like that. Okay, so now it does take it a second to kind of get loose enough to, yeah, see, like this one, I usually have to kind of guide it a little bit, get it under here, because it gets, there we go. There. Okay. There it is. Just kind of have to play with it a little bit, but then it will be happy. So there you go. So there's the little waterfall part. I want to just make a little indication that this is for pulling. So I'm going to go ahead and pull that out a little bit. I'm going to use a little bit of the frayed ribbon. Just a tiny little piece here. And I'm going to fold it in half and stick it right on the edge like that. And then I'm going to staple it on. If you don't like stapling, you could use, they could put in a hole and maybe, you know, thread it through. Use a thinner ribbon maybe. But I liked this white frayed ribbon. It's just going to indicate, oh, I have to pull here, right? And then the other thing I want to add is I want to add a little bit of birdage. I should have done this before I put it together probably. But we're going to use the little bird from the set. And I'm just going to stamp a few of those. Whoops, I caught an edge. Dang it. I'm going to stamp a few of those here so that they don't show while I'm here. Let's go ahead and use my handy dandy sand eraser. See if I can get that edge out of there. It's kind of a dark color. I might have to work at it a little bit. There we go. It's getting there. But it's working. Okay, so that's good enough for now. And then my last step is I just wanted to put a sentiment in here as well. So I'm going to use Memento Black, and I'm using the You're So Totally Awesome. I couldn't put this on here because it would show, like, the writing would show here, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but I wanted it to be kind of revealed with the finished wave. So I'm actually going to stamp it on here, but to keep underneath, since there's a, I didn't want to do it before I assembled this because I wanted to know exactly where it was going to land, but I also don't want to try stamping right now because it's got this edge of the cardstock under here, so it's going to end up not stamping right. So I'm going to stick my silicone mat under there. That way it gives it a flat surface for me to stamp on. And then I'm going to go ahead and stamp my You're So Totally Awesome like that. Okay, and now when we do the card, whoops, it will be revealed once I pull it through like that. So you can see it's totally not as hard as it looks. These cards are really, really fun. You could do it with any sort of card, but I wanted to try it with this Waves of Inspiration just because it's such a pretty set, and I wanted it to look like it was a wave crashing, right? So I just thought that was really fun. So there's my waterfall card for you. Two different versions. You can see they're very similar, but I used different patterns, but it looks great with any patterns. So that's really fun. And in case you didn't see them before, I've been playing a lot with this stamp set. So you can see these are the intricate dies that I had told you that you can layer on top of the waves. So that's really fun. I have a couple of fun fold cards here that are really also fun to play. I've been doing a lot of fun folds with this set of projects or set of products. And then this is just a simple card here that uses the little pelican. So there you have it. Some really fun projects featuring this Waves of Inspiration bundle. You can buy it all together for $79.25, or you can buy the pieces individually as well. You can check out my website if you want to go see what's available and the other pricing. Also, if you want to use the host code for March, I'm doing a Pot of Gold promotion. So be sure to follow me on Facebook, where you can comment on my color posts each week and enter to win random rainbow prizes, which will be given away in my Facebook Live every week. So the first one is this Thursday, March 10th. I'll be doing the first set of rainbow random prizes, and then also the lucky leprechaun may show up if you're on my page. And if you decide to place an order you can enter that code, and that will be part of the Pot of Gold promotion, and you'll get extra entries for the Pot of Gold. So commenting and all that stuff gets you entries as well, but you'll get extra entries, $10 or one entry for every $10 you spend. And the Pot of Gold is the mystery hostess reward. So you'll get all the rewards from this month's orders. It's already over $100. So if you love this product suite and you wanted to get it for your own craft room, go ahead and go visit my site, enter that code regardless of the size of your order. So you need to put it in even if your order is over $150, because it all needs to count towards that mystery hostess. And then I will be giving away the Pot of Gold at the end of the month. So hopefully you'll be the lucky winner. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you guys have a great day. And if you like this video, be sure to click the like button below. And if you really want to make my day, go ahead and click subscribe. Have a great week, and we'll see you next time. Bye.